Okay, I can tell you roughly. I think we had 8 admissions. I might be one either side wrong with that.
You had 8, yeah.
8 admissions, 4 of which I would consider to be serious limb injuries. Of those 4, 3 went to theatre on the Friday afternoon and into the evening, and in fact the small hours of Saturday. And the other one went to theatre the following day. Of those 4, 3 are in the process or have been transferred to UK trauma centres for ongoing specialist care. The other one has probably received definitive management here, so will be discharged in hopefully a few days.
We've heard rumours that perhaps one of the people here may have had to suffer an amputation of some kind. Can you confirm that, please?
That's false. Nobody has lost a leg yet, anyway, and there's no suggestion, as far as I can tell, that anybody will lose a leg. Obviously, complications such as infections, which are unforeseen, may set in, but I don't think anybody will lose a leg from this.
Can you give me an idea of the sort of injuries that you're dealing with?
Comminuted open fractures of tibias, that's shin bones. Yeah, I suppose open fractures is the main one.
You say limbs, is it mainly legs?
Yes, yeah, the significant injuries of the legs. It seemed to me that whatever hit these patients sort of took out their lower half of their bodies. Injuries to the upper limbs are all relatively trivial.
So 8 admissions, 4 serious limb injuries, and 3 of those have gone to the UK, 1 can be dealt with and discharged here. The other 4, were they subsequently discharged?
The other 4, I think there's 1 remaining, but there's arrangements for him to have his ongoing care in the UK. He had what could be considered to be a significant injury, but certainly one that didn't need immediate care. So given the level of things we had to deal with here, I arranged for him to have an early appointment this week in a fracture clinic in the UK where he will be dealt with.
The other 3 were discharged?
The other 3, I honestly don't know, because they either weren't in my area. I think there was one sort of minor head or abdominal injury which didn't come under my remit, and I think they've been discharged.
What pressure did it put your system under, having so many injuries at one time, and could you cope? And was it true that if you couldn't have coped, the race could not have continued? And also, would they have then been shipped to Liverpool? Was that the alternative?
Well, there's levels of coping, isn't there? When the ambulances hit the A&E department, the A&E department was literally full. We've got 4 resus bays and 1 trauma bay, and they were full.
Before the incident even happened?
No, with the patients from this incident. So that means we were up to capacity. Now, it takes a little while to process those patients, to stabilise them, transfer them to the wards, make plans for theatre. They were relatively quickly cleared from the A&E department, but we then had their ongoing management in the hospital, which meant there were 2 theatres running with 2 teams of orthopaedic surgeons and anaesthetists, and we didn't really have any capacity for more. So what we were saying is that whereas we dealt with this incident well, if there had been something from the race, I wasn't available to run downstairs and deal with it, neither was my colleague in the next door theatre, and therefore we put in the plans that should anything further happen, they needed to go across pretty much straight away.
Would you stabilise them first? If it had been another accident, would they come down here at Nobles to be checked and then flown to Liverpool, or would you be going straight?
I'm not sure what was put in place.
They will be stabilised in the A&E department.
Right.
Is the answer to that, sorry, that there should, or possibly, if something happened in future, that staffing levels should be higher? Is that a question you'll be reviewing or addressing?
No, I mean, it's not staffing levels as such. We've got probably more than enough staff, but in terms of equipment levels and physical space, it's probably the main limiting factor.
We were told that none of the injured people were from the Isle of Man. Can you confirm where they were from?
No.
The northwest of England, you can't confirm that either?
I don't think I should say anything about that, but
Different places,
they're from all over the place. I don't think any of them knew each other apart from one couple, and they're from different places in the UK.
Were any of the injured spectators watching from private property, as in a front garden?
Don't know.
We didn't ask that question, to be honest.
Is there a likelihood that each of these patients can make a full recovery?
Full recovery in terms of being able to walk and work, yes, but whether they'll be completely unimpaired afterwards, it's too early to say.
What about shock and stress? That sometimes comes after a physical accident, mental scars. I mean, people who weren't physically injured and rushed here in an ambulance, if they were right next to it, I would imagine, if not then, later, sooner or later, they could suffer quite a lot of shock. Have you had any approaches from people who were very shocked, or did any people with shock come in?
We may have done, but that's not really my department, so I wouldn't know.
No, does anyone else here know the answer?
We've not had people present to any department with that, no.
What sort of surgical procedures were carried out?
Debridement of open wounds and fixation of fractures. 3 of the patients had what we call damage control orthopaedics, which is a military process, whereby we stabilise the fractures temporarily, debride the wounds, and then arrange for ongoing care.
Are you happy with the way the hospital handled this emergency? Did it go to plan?
Did. Everything went very smoothly. We were really quite pleasantly surprised how quickly and how well it all came together. Everybody pulled well together, from ambulance bringing them in, to the porters bringing them to the wards, to theatres operating. It was good for teamwork. We united and everything went very well.
And it started off with the A&E teams doing the initial assessment on the patient, and then the specialities were coming in, and it was all run very calmly and efficiently. So as soon as we don't see major incidents every day, I was incredibly proud of everyone. It was really, there was no real problems, and we expedited the patients quite quickly once they were stabilised, so we were enabled to be ready for the next race. But we also, not only did we have the resource room running, we had the minor injuries areas that had the patients in as well, didn't we? So we were absolutely full to capacity, weren't we, the whole of the department.
Does extra staff have to be brought in?
Yeah.
How many? What kind of?
We called in an extra doctor and 3 extra A&E nurses.
But there was
A few more just appeared,
Yes.
didn't they?
Yeah, there
People
was
just
lots
appeared
of
trying to help.
There was lots
Yes.
of people that have worked in A&E before helped, and there was lots of people phoning up offering help.
There was too many at one stage.
Yeah.
What level of stress did the TT period put on emergency services as a whole, not just 5 days incident?
Sorry, emergency services, you mean from a medical perspective?
Yes, medical perspective.
And in TT its entirety?
Of the TT fortnight, just
From an ambulance service perspective, we have additional resources on for the fortnight during TT. As we move into the busier period in race week, we also have an air ambulance helicopter protecting the population of the Isle of Man, particularly in sort of outlying areas. So that is the normal level of resource we have for TT. We also have a blanket kind of annual leave ban, which obviously bolsters our resources. So TT for us, every year we put extra resources on, whether they be land ambulances or air assets.
We do the same in orthopaedics. We have a leave ban. We get some extra bodies from UK hospitals to come and help us. We change the rota around so that no one person is hammered with the middle weekend. We try and work cooperatively and share the workload. So even though I was nominally on call on Friday, one of my other colleagues was there as well, and another one came on Saturday the other 2 came on Saturday to continue the work, to give me a chance to have a bit of a break.
I also think it's relevant when we're talking about TT to look at medical assets in the sense of the actual races itself. I don't know if you're aware, but there's two dynamics that are going on here. There is the actual protection of the competitors, which is carried out by the medical aspects that look after the races, and there's also the Isle of Man ambulance service that fundamentally looks after the population of the Isle of Man. I think what happened, the events that unravelled on senior race day, really demonstrative of that really good kind of team working spirit we have, because it wasn't just the statutory ambulance service, there were also voluntary agencies that came into play to assist us, and I've got absolute admiration for them, because they did a sterling job in a really challenging situation, because we were trying to fulfil our task, and let's not forget we had the eyes and the ears of the world watching us at the bottom of Bray Hill that day, and I think they pulled together fantastically, and I think the interface and communication we had with Nobles again really demonstrated what we can achieve as an island.